Hey, Rio here, and it is week 3 attendance. So, what I'd like to talk about in this attendance is besides just looking a little bit at what's coming at us and some feedback already on some of the work that you've submitted, seems like most of you, like I said, after reviewing the grades today, have gotten a really good start, which is great because this is one of those courses that, it's 18 weeks, and I know a few of you are in my 82 class. That class is a 9-week, 3-unit class. This is a 3-unit, 18-week class, so this class goes at a different pace. And so we're actually getting ready to ramp up. You just finished your Section 3 code up, right? Isn't that what I call them? I can't remember. I call it, sometimes I call it code up, and sometimes I call it code along. But anyway, where you've completed in the Udemy course that section 3. And like I said before, it's really important that when you get to the challenges, you do that. And the other thing about this is, a few of you ran into this, make sure you do a commit after each video, okay? And if the video has no code, that's fine. You don't have to do that. So just make sure that you are actually getting that every commit, because that's what I look at when I look at your grade for this. Okay, so we are moving into this week. We'll have an item due, which, by the way, I actually got a little ahead of myself in grading this morning and thought that the Learn Together week 3 was due, and it wasn't, so I accidentally put a 0 in a couple of your grades. So just know that that was my mistake, and I'll fix it when I grade on Tuesday. Having said that, I am actually out of the office on Monday. I will be gone. I have a day trip up to Google. So I haven't seen, I think, any of you yet from 93, but if Monday was a day you were coming by, just know that. And what I mean by that is this coming Monday. I'm recording this on the Friday before, the Friday of week 2 ending before week 3 begins. And the other thing is about the communications with me. Make sure that, the class chat is there for us all to chat together. If you want to ask me directly, just use Canvas. Don't Hangout chat me directly. And the truth is, I can't really do that because I've actually had to get approval from the campus to do the Hangout. So they track. I actually give them a copy of that archive, but I can't do that on individual chats. So make sure if you want to ask me directly, you do it on Canvas and not through Hangout directly. But I think most questions that I get are actually pretty well suited for all class, everyone's eyes to see. Okay, so let's actually move to the content we have, and I'll say a few words about some of the course content I've already seen you create for this week. So here we are in week 3. So this Learn Together is one where I ask you to think about how this development's going to work, as far as I had showed you just a really quick preview of some of the code that I did. And I've already gotten some good questions here, right? Because I want you to do two apps or 2 coding projects for this first development. But keep in mind that the code that you're going to write for this first development, I think even the second and maybe the third, are command line apps, right? And so for the first one I want you to do, it is, and I'm just clarifying here because this doesn't hurt. This is new content for this course, so the more questions you ask, the more clarification we could have. And so on the first project, because again, for this development too, you'll have 2 different things that you'll code up. One is just think of something in your daily life, right? Just think of something that you've thought about or that you're interested in. I've mentioned a couple that I am. And on the second one, it will be something that will be part of a larger app that you want to create for this class. And so it won't be the whole thing, it'll just be one aspect. So what you'll probably do is, on this development 1, is actually take maybe some of the core functionality that you would want. But just to be clear, these apps I only want you to use code that we have learned in section 3 and 4. Okay, so just to clarify that and to make sure that we're all clear, about what that is. So even if you have other experience, I want you to limit your code functionality to what, and by the way, these are big sections. There's a lot of content on here that you can use to create these first develop it ones. Okay. All right, so again, we have our last section before we have only a week of learn togethers, which allows you to set up for that develop it. Okay, so now's the time for you to really be thinking. As a matter of fact, that's why I bring it up now, is so as you're going through learning this code, you can start to get an idea. You see what Andrew does in his code, right? And that's also why I'm doing this here. So as you think about, the more you thought you give to this, the better it's going to be. Okay. All right, so then my job over the weekend is actually to work on the Learn Together 4, and this is where we'll actually move into some of the concepts that you're learning in here and expand upon them. I actually don't know what I'm going to do here, but I do know that now that I've introduced the develop it that's coming, now I can focus on some other things. Okay, so just to end that, about the valleydevfest.com if you want to check that out. October 20th, like I said, at Bitwise, that's a great event coming up. I'll talk about more of that later. And then I think that's it. So have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.